All right. Good morning. Man, it has been a slog for the past 2 days, but today I think I finally made enough progress on and off of the stream in order to get my tools to connect to the database. I'm just trying to clean up a little bit of the logic right now. And what is going on here? You're right, I've been updating. Wait, I don't know what it's doing. Ugh. Every time I think I understand what's going on, it just completely breaks. Let's get rid of all this stuff. What was all that stuff that it created? Anyway, so this project file is this is what I was working on yesterday. The idea behind it now is that we can run a test suite, and it now goes through the database. It connects correctly, and it should tell you everything on how to connect. The problem is that it's not updating this page with the documentation, but the idea would be that I can now take this and copy paste it and put it into another project. And this is to help streamline setting up the database. What I'm trying to do on my other computer, let me see if I can just get the window open correctly, is that, let me keep this. I have another page here that I'm looking at. It's for a different project I haven't sort of talked about yet. But the idea is I wanted to have one simple page you can add to any project, any of these React Vite projects that would just automatically run the test. Standalone direct disconnection test. This is so long and complicated. What is it? Collection access passed. I'm kind of curious now. This is the YouTube dash. What is this thing called? Generator. Wait. What is this thing called? YouTube blog database dot weekend code project dot dev. I need to figure out what the credentials are. This is... show me the password. It doesn't help me at all. I'm just trying to log in. I want to kind of see. I want to see what it's generating under the hood. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but this will actually have huge impact on how much progress we can make today. I just need to look. I'm just looking at my other screen, so I'm just trying to find the password for this database, because I'm not sure if it's actually making... Wait, what? This is the right password, unless I'm in YouTube blog generator. No, I need the database. Let me get the password for the database. So many passwords. All right, no collections, no anything yet. My files. Oops, I don't need that. All right, I think this is good to go. What I just want to have this sort of simplify this now. Can you streamline this page so it's less code? Drops the next steps and is easy to copy paste into a new project. All right, while it works on that, I need to figure out where I put my, where did I put my, there we go, my chat stuff. All right, so, oh my God, I have so many windows and I have so many computers I'm working on, and I'm utterly lost. All right, so I'm just going to iterate on this a couple more moments just so that I can have, what I want to do is I want to basically get this sort of as a self-contained page. And then when we come into this project here, the Game Boy test framework, I'll be able to drop this page in, go to it, see that everything works, and then and then I can start doing this migration of adding everything to the database. And this has taken 2 days to get to, mostly because setting up the database stuff is confusing and not much fun. The component is now much more portable and concise. Which one do I need, though? Wait, hold on. Why? Oh my god, I don't know what this music is. Alright, I'm trying to let this generate out a couple more things real quick, and then we will move on to the next round, which is hopefully just connecting this database. So, let's see here. What was I doing? Did this actually change anything? Okay, delete the other two. Database, test connection, database, direct disconnection. All right, we don't need these. Delete these. And now I know it's super exciting to not see what's going on my other computer. Direct disconnection and delete the other two. This gives you exactly what you wanted. All right, let's see if this works now. View page source. Nope, not view page source. I want to see the console because something is wrong. I think I deleted the database. I accident deleted this. Test, can you re-implement it? All right, whoops. That wasn't cool. Nora's looking at this white screen. So while it runs its thing, sort of where we left off earlier in the week is that the idea behind this Game Boy test framework is that you can give it a Game Boy game, and then you can create a sort of script of actions, and it'll run through those actions, like take a screenshot, hit a button, and then we can use that to reproduce testing everything is working correctly when we make changes to the code base. Because the level editor that I've created has become it's become more than I can manage. So every time I make a change, like going through everything and testing it, I just can't remember it all. So what I needed to do, though, is in order to have some more flexibility, I needed to move this over to a database. And everything is just sort of broken on it from this like half-assed migration I did. Overwrite. All right, let's see if this fixed this here. All right. Reduce the code. Okay, I'm trying to get it to simplify this more, because what I really wanted to do is I just wanted to generate out all the stuff that we need, and we don't need all this other garbage. I'm trying to make this and I'm actually trying to see what is the main file here. Because right now it's like 400 lines of code, which is fine. I don't really care about that. I just want to make it where it's easy to say, okay, here's an example of how you can test out everything, add this to your project, and then that will streamline this setup. All right, so now let me fix the remaining badge reference, replacing them with inline components. All right, let's see if this works. It's just giving me errors. Try again. Negative. Come on, you can do it. Negative. I'm so confused what it's trying to do. Oh, there we go. Hey, we're back. All right, removed the next step section. No more instructions, limited helper functions. Preserve. So the only thing that has changed. So let me see if I need this anymore. Do I need this stand alone? TSX. You don't need the standalone direct disconnection. Okay, you said this last time. Let me just copy this and delete it, and I can revert it later if I need to. Sorry, this will get more visually interesting in a minute once I get this done. Okay, so now everything is self-contained here in database connection test TSX. All right. Current dependencies in the database. Not quite your database. External dependencies. Let me show you what's missing. Enhanced circle button. How about this? Can we just strip this down to basic HTML? We don't need the design. It's more important to be simple and valid and show valid tests. All right, I'm going to try to have it reiterate this one more time. The problem is like it's using all these like it's using like all this design stuff, like all these icons and everything, and we don't even need any of this stuff. Honestly, this just needs to be like a flat HTML page that we just dump into any project, see that it works, and move on with our life. Because then what will happen is that we have a like a wrapper, the DB test wrapper, and I'm actually going to see if I can inline it into that. Maybe I can. Let's just do this. File, new window, because we don't have enough Visual Studio Code instances up and running. Workspace. I am looking for this YouTube blog generator. This is an interesting little project of mine that I'm working on where I haven't really announced it yet, but I think it really matters for the millions of people who are watching at home. Basically, I have jessefreeman.tv, and I'm creating a site that takes every single stream that I make and turns it into it'll take the transcripts, clean it up, turn it into a blog post, and give you like the full transcripts, and you can watch the video. And the idea is that what I'm trying to get to is this workflow where every day I do these streams for like 2 hours. I experiment with a bunch of stuff. Some stuff works, some stuff doesn't. And then that just becomes sort of a notebook of what I've done. And this is all basically automated to the point of where, like, if let's see if this username and password works. Of course it does. No, I don't want to update this password. Basically, I give it the YouTube and the Twitch API keys, and I can have it import everything, and I can manage which ones I show and hide and all that other stuff. So there's sort of a lot going on in here, but what I want to do is take this. It's so weird. Oh, here we go. Running tests. Oh, cool. It decided to use emojis instead. Is this file now cleaner? All right. This is 500 lines of code. I want to ask you one more thing. I was going to open this up. You know, we'll do it here so you have something to see. It's just I have so many instances of Visual Studio Code going on. Let me open up our little chat here. And what I'm looking for is in source pages and components, we have the database connection test. And then we have in the pages this DB test. Is there a way to inline the component in the page so I can have a single self-contained file to drop in future React Byte projects to confirm the database will work? All right. Unfortunately, I really shouldn't even have named this Game Boy development. I mean, I guess this is sort of part of the under the hood stuff because I have to build these tools and it does take, it's literally taking time, but this is a lot of groundwork that I'm doing for much larger and more complex projects. So this will make future videos way easier. I was just checking the status of another AI agent. I mean, I do like the idea. I do like the fact that, like, now with the Copilot, I just have it sort of like, okay, I have one window doing this thing, I have another window doing that thing. It's hard for me to context switch when I'm doing videos and like trying to think of stuff like off the top of my head to talk about. But what I have noticed is that it allows me to work on like multiple projects at the same time. I mean, granted, I'm sitting here now and telling it what to do, but when I need to jump into code, I can jump into code. I have these each one of these agents going out and working on different parts of the project. And when I was out in in California, and I was using this stuff to sort of help me organize and turn my code into slides and stuff, I could have it working on two different parts of the project. So theoretically, I could have it doing database stuff and working on that, but I can also have it working on the Game Boy code or different parts, as long as you don't overlap it where it's going to make changes to the same thing. So if you have like a way of isolating components inside of a project, you can technically have two instances of Visual Code running and having this running. The only thing you're doing is just paying for the content. I don't think it understood what I wanted here. Maybe it's better as a single component, and then I can just tell. This sort of isn't what I was thinking of, because you've now made this entirely. Wait, I don't understand what it did here. I don't. Tailwind will always exist in this setup, and I need the code to be as compressed and simple as possible. And it really doesn't want to cooperate today. That's fine. Let's see where we stand on this now. Is this actually updated? The documentation? No, it is not. I'm like going nuts because this isn't understanding what I wanted to do. And I just wanted to update the stupid documentation. So let me get this one page to work, and then this will end hopefully the chapter on like how do I set up new projects and use this database stuff. Give me 1 second while I drink. So let's see here. Is it actually making any changes? So it looks like it's just sitting around doing nothing. And then it's going to come back and give me like an error that it couldn't, it's going to come back and give me like an error or something that it couldn't figure this out. All right, what are you stuck on? I want to make the code shorter and simpler by using Tailwind instead of inline styles, but I actually made it much longer by keeping the inline styles. Let me create a much more compressed version using Tailwind classes. Thanks. I didn't even care about the styling. Like, I don't understand why it's like so fixated on like styling. Like, it's like the one time where normally my brain is like, all right, I want to make everything look good first. And it's like the one time my brain is like, I don't care about how this looks because I just need it to work. Just trying to back up some stuff on the other computer again. All right, so once it cleans this up and deletes all this crap and gets this to a place where it's easy to use, the only other real next step is going to be, and I guess we could do this while we wait. Let's do, let's go into my dev environment. We're going to create a new workspace here. And we're going to call this Game Boy Framework Database. Right? I think that's what the other project is called. Hello, directives. Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need this. Game Boy Test Framework. All right, and we are going to make this https:// so that we can accept any connections from this. And I think I need to change this to 8 because I have a couple of these running now. So basically what I've done is I've created this template now where whenever I want to create a new database, I have the template. I simply give it a name. The owner defaults to me. I'm the only owner on my dev server here. And this is using Coder, by the way, which I love. Like, there's some things I want to tweak and had reached out, talked to somebody over there, and I have to give them my feedback. I've been like a month late on it, but I've been digging as deep as I can into it to have some actually useful feedback. But anyways, I have that. I have a Docker image, and then I can expose different ports, and then it automatically does the setup command. So we can create this workspace, and now what this is going to do is on my NAS, it's going to create a folder for this project, and all the database stuff that it's creating is going to be saved to that folder, and then that folder is archived every night. It's just part of my regular backup process. Let's check in with Visual Studio Code and see what it has done here. This page is now a little bit shorter. So does it pass the sniff test? I want to make sure this is actually the right thing. So let's go here. And where is their HTML? I'm just going to put an exclamation mark there. So when it gets to the server reachable, does it not display server reachable? Server is reachable. Where is this coming from? So this is what I'm so confused by. Like, why is it creating two separate files? All right, let's have it figure this out again. This is sort of annoying. Let's check back in, though, on our database. So what I was saying earlier is that so now the template will go out. It'll build this dev environment for, this is using Directus and MariaDB. I think I'm saying that right. I should probably look that up at some point. So if we click on this admin panel, what this will do is it's going to open up the actual admin panel. And the way that I've set this up, I don't know if you're going to see it in the comments because there's so many log files now, or so much stuff is being logged. Let me see. No, but I have a secret that I can now pass in here. So let's just do Jesse Freeman. It's like, it sounds like a lullaby at gmail.com. And now if we log in, we now have a dedicated database set up for our Game Boy Test Framework project. The only thing that's missing now is just getting this, getting Visual Studio Code to actually create the one page that I want, so I can paste it into the new project and make sure that it all works. Blah. All right, keep only the Directus standalone separate service. Directus, the file already contains everything you need. So wait, but is it actually wired up correctly? Where are the damn pages? All right, and then we'll have it finish up this last part. I'm sort of just stalling because there isn't much that I can do at the moment until we get this working. Keep. And now let's see what this. I guarantee you this page looks completely different. All right. Close enough. All right, setup instructions. Use this component. It's not to the NV. Why do they keep saying this? It's not. Okay, so let's see. The Directus connection test standalone. Directus connection. So I think I can delete this one. Let's delete this and see what happens. Because this is still connected. This connection, this database, this is still connected to Superbase. And this will run independently. There's no errors. Let me see. one last thing here. To not say the .env and instead show what is in the byte config to route the env passwords, env variables, the front end. I can tell it like, hey, document exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it, and it just sort of, yep, I'll update the instructions and configuration. All right, fine. Perfect. What I wanted to do is, I actually wanted to include all of them. So there's here, actually, you include all of those and confirm that's what you are showing in the and show environmental variable thing. I should be able to tell it to include all the environmental variables. Okay, I think this is the last thing that we need to do, and then I am confident that we're going to be able to move on. I don't need the smooth jazz. I need to find the better royalty-free music. All right, let's keep these changes. Let's just double check what it has added here. Everything is broken now. Perfect. I can't believe I accepted those changes and I wasn't even paying attention. I can't wait to get back to the Game Boy development. I have a feeling it's probably going to be next week. I might be able to do some this weekend, but I really want to get this tool going, and then everything will speed up so much better. It really keeps pushing this env file. All right, before I accept the test, all right, I guess this is everything that it needs to do. Import using. All right. The irony that this became exactly what I wanted the other project to be is, all right, let me do one last thing. Keep, I want to just SSH in and save this real quick. SSH nas at studio nas.local. That's this CD coder workspace. What is this project? YouTube blog generator. Git status, git add all. Sure, I'll deal with that later. Git commit adding db test page. Period. And now git status. Let's just push this up. All right. Okay, so I do wonder if there's any other way we can streamline this, but I don't care right now. Let's just do this. So now the only other thing I'm doing is I'm asking it to put itself back into the file. I don't know how this is going to work. In essence, what I really wanted to do is I would love it to be some sort of like here we just have the instructions below and then it recreates itself. It may not understand what I'm asking it to do. I don't even understand what I'm asking it to do. I have a feeling that it's just writing instructions on how to use this component. It's not actually putting the code in, but that's fine. I need to move on with my life. Let's see if this works. I'll just wait to see what the last thing is, and then I can come back and... Oh no, I just lost my mouse. So, all right, gives me a second to wait. Come on, give me my mouse back. Give me my mouse. My mouse, of course, decides to disconnect right now. There we go. All right, I don't think it listened. I have another idea on how to do this. Is there a way of putting the entire contents of this page in a variable and then rendering it to the... Nah, this is too much work. All right. Now it just added too much shit to this. I'm just undoing this. Yeah, undo this, undo this, and now this should just be this one page. Okay, let's do this now. I'm going to copy this, and let's close out all this other work. so we've done this, this, and this leaves us now with our database. We can access it here. We now need Coder, the actual test framework, and we can preview that here. And so what we're going to do is let's start closing out these projects. Close you out. And this is hello Directus. We don't need that anymore. And now, this is the, let's see, get, we still have SSH in here? That's good. Good status. I don't remember what we were doing. I think this is git branch, git add all, git commit m, adding more project based logic, whatever. It's all going to be rewritten anyways. Okay. So I want you to create a page that uses this component to test the database connection before we continue. A debug. I want you to create a debug page that uses this component. All right, and now I should be able to paste this entire thing in. And now what it's going to do is it'll create this page. I'll see that it can actually connect to the database correctly. And then once I can confirm that it connects to the database correctly, then we can get it to a place where it I don't know, well, I guess it'll start working? I don't know. Then we can start moving forward with fixing all this crap that I broke. All right, so it's creating this debug page. I'm just taking a look at what it like. I wonder if it actually is going to be able to figure this out. Oh, it's creating the page. I'm just waiting to see what it actually connects. Now let me check the game Project Hub to add a link to the debug page. I don't need that. Why does it do like more than I ask it to? Like, what the hell is it doing? All right, come on. You've done so much more than I even remotely asked you to do. Run all tests. Right, okay. So we show the environment variables and it doesn't work. So let's give it the setup instructions. Ooh, did it automatically figure that out? Hey, look at that. It automatically did it. All right, I think this is what we need. I'm going to go to GitHub and create a new gist for this. Where do I go to create a new one? Am I missing something? All gists. That was really hidden. This is a Directus. Morning. Directus plus Maria DB test page for coder Vite React and Tailwind. All right, so this is not the thing that I needed. I needed this. Well, let me see. It added the page, right? I need to go back and find where I put that. Yeah, because when I pasted, of course I closed the stupid thing. Oh, you know what? I have it open in my other window on my other computer. Let me just find. No, I don't. I closed that too. I can just do it here. File, new window, file, open, recent. This, and let's put this. Of course, I'll close it because why would I not need it? Let's put this in here, and we'll just create it. I just wanted to write this down somewhere so I don't forget it. Yeah, Copilot's actually been really good. This is what I've actually been leaning towards and not using Lovable anymore. I dumped my plan down from I was paying almost $400 a month or something, and I dumped it down to, I don't know, the $50 plan. All right, so if we rerun this, why is it not outputting this here? Let's keep this, all these changes. The Vite config has this. I might have to restart the server. Show the environments. Directus here. Run all tests. Okay, let me restart the container and see if this will now pass in the properties. So debug secret contents. Error, could not find the secrets JSON file. What? Settings, parameters. Oh, cool. I didn't give it a database name. I swore I did. Okay. Your Game Boy. Oh, you know what? Right. This is a new project. Oh, man, my brain is not working. Okay. This should now work because, so what I've done is I told it, hey, go look at the, this project folder here, which is, where is it? Game Boy, it should be Game Boy Test Framework Database. And then, all right, so let me see if I can explain this whole system now. And a lot of this is what I was working on yesterday. Basically now, when I create a new database from one of my Terraform templates, it takes all the credentials for the database. And one of the things that it does is that every time the workspace is restarted, it generates out a secret key. And the secret key becomes the password for the root of the database. Now I needed a more automated way of passing that into my other projects. So it creates a JSON file on my computer that has the information. And now when I updated the template for my projects, if I give it the database name, it goes out and looks for that file and then makes it environment variables. So now if we come back here, we should see it's running. And so now what happens is that it's pulling in all of that data. Although I don't know why direct this email. I don't understand what this like separation, like why it has this like Vite stuff, but whatever, I'll deal with that later. Okay, long story short is that these are the three things we need to connect to our database. We know what the database URL is, we have an email, and we have our password. And then this page now, this goes through and tests each one of these variables and makes sure that let's try to see what the hell it's doing here. I just want to see something. Oh, whatever. It's done it. It doesn't matter at this point. So, long story short is that now when you go to this page, and the idea was that this is like a drop-in component that I want to put into any React app that I run on my like dev environment, is that I can go to this page. It'll validate that it's getting all the database information. It'll run through a series of tests that shows that it can it's configured, it's authorized, it has a connection, and that it can access the database. And then it'll look for its permissions for what it can access. And then it just gives you some extra additional information for what you need to do in your Vite config in order to run all this mess. So, okay, now that one thing took me 2 days to get working. Let me do git status, can we stop making this environment variable? Just stop this. Nobody cares. Actually, you know what? I will keep this. I understand. I have an idea for what it needs to do later on. So let's do git add all, git commit adding db test page. All right, let's push all of our changes just to get it off the computer before I make things blow up. Clear. And now, the moment we have all been waiting for is how do we migrate this stupid thing over to a database? All right. Database migration plan. Now that I have my DB test page correctly connecting to the Directus database client, I want to implement this plan. We've done the basic local storage prototype. So how can we now create the tables we need and wire all the systems to use it correctly? The one thing I haven't really thought through is and let me pass it in this DB connection thing. Components, Directus connection test. Use the connection test component to figure out how to make the connection. What I will have to do after this is that, so I guess the workflow of what I'm thinking of is that whenever I start one of these new projects, I'll just dump this file in there, and then this will give you the test basically in order to make sure that everything works. So what's going to happen now, which is going to be a complete and utter mess, is that it's going to go through and it's going to start moving over a lot of the local storage stuff that I had for testing over into the database. Like theoretically, it's supposed to do that. We'll see how far we get. And then what I'll do is I'll have it update this database connection page as we go along through the database migration to validate that the tables and everything we need are actually inside of the database. And this way, if we need to make migrations, we can use this debug page to handle the migrations. Because that's the one thing I haven't really thought about is I don't know how Directus handles database migrations. You have a Directus connection working. You need to install the Directus SDK first. Cool. No, you do not. It's using the web API. Can you not see that from the test page I showed you? Of course I'm right, because I read the code. I guess it decided that it knew that it was wrong and it just like it quit. Like, sorry, no more responses. We're not taking any more questions at the moment. All right, I'm gonna let this thing do its thing. I'm gonna take a quick break and then probably just get my desk down so I can sit. And we'll come back in a minute or two, see what mess this has created. And then my goal for the next hour-ish during this stream really is to just get this to the point of where if I can get this connected to the database and I can start migrating over all the logic for running the tests, this should speed up tremendously, and then I can get back into Game Boy development. But I have a lot of other work on my plate today, so I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to really do this. This is probably going to be one of those day 20.5 streams tomorrow, but I'm hoping by tomorrow at least we will be able to get back into Game Boy coding. So I will be right back. All right, I am back after a handful of peanuts too. And let's see, this thing is still going and doing its own thing. But I'm hoping that this will actually work out. This is the tough part, and this is the problem I have with like all back-end applications. Is like there's so much work that needs to go into wiring up the database and configuring it right. And this is why I don't normally do back-end stuff. I mean, not like I'm really doing much anyways, but I've hired ChatGPT to, or not, Claude, I guess today. Excuse me, I've hired Claude to do my coding. Excuse me. The thing really is that I keep building these tools out, and if they're not reusable, then I feel like I've missed the point of what the tool should do. I don't ever build one-off specialized tools unless I really have to. And I would like to continue doing Game Boy development. A lot of the stuff I've actually been putting into this game is forward thinking for another project I want to do. So I'm hoping that this testing tool, one, will be able to help me, but maybe other people will be able to use it and do their own testing. Give a little something back to the community. All right, it is really trying to figure out what it is doing with itself. That's interesting that it's decided to, I guess it took the initiative to do the thing I was saying, that I really wanted to create the database and have this be this one page that handles everything. All right, let's see here. I honestly don't know what it's doing. The switch between local storage and database implementations will allow us to gradually. No. We don't need to support local storage anymore. Just implement the database. I should have saved those files, but sometimes you have to really watch it, because it goes off the rail. Like the other day I was working on this other project of mine, and it just started adding duplicate UI all over the place. I'm actually looking at it right now. I'm at the screen and just trying to understand why it did this. Okay. All right. All you need to update the service keep. Okay, let's see. Now let's create a service adapter that can switch between local. No, okay. Did I not tell it not to do that? All right. I don't know what I'm having it do right now, but let's just have it keep going. I was just cleaning up something else that's going on in the other screen. But let's continue. So I'm not paying attention. Remove this. I guess it took me very literal, and it's now just removing all the local storage no matter where it is, which is fine. It needs to do that anyways. I was just using the local storage as a stopgap just to see it like how it could restructure everything. And then once it was restructured, my assumption was that instead of it using local storage, it could just route into the database. The only problem I had was the local storage wouldn't let me upload the Game Boy game. So it ran out of storage space, which is weird because there's only 5 megabytes, but I guess they put a cap on that unless I like explicitly tell it not to. Let me fix the service reference database page. All right, fix the services for the database migration. Yeah, continue iterating unless you're done. I guess it's doing some work to this. Technically, none of this stuff should work at this point because it's not connected really to a database. There's probably gonna be like a lot of broken code for a good portion of this hour. These migrations, so this is the other reason why I spent 2 days working on a reproducible template system for creating databases, because I've been using local storage like a crutch, and I think from like the beginning I just need to get this out so that it actually works with the database from the start. So we'll see. I may make a new template modification. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I actually want to do in Coder, and I've been working on it in bits and pieces. But what I'll do is I'll create like these templates and just say like if you want a database, it'll just create the database inside of the container with it, so that I don't have to deal with a lot of this extra connection stuff. It's just the Docker and Docker stuff gets a little bit more complicated, but it would be nice to have like one self-contained, like here's the front end and here's the back end. I'm a bit of a ways away from that. I'm also trying to get this to the point of where, one, I can run VMs in here and then remote into it through the web browser, but I have a lot of like port issues I need to deal with because I'm using Cloudflare's tunnel for my domain. And the other was a full .NET environment, because I do want to start looking back at Pixel Vision 8 and seeing if there's something I could do to maybe modernize that. Let's see how we're doing here. We're still going through. Oh, I forgot to change this to sitting. Let me continue. I'll be right back. Let me go lower my desk. All right, and let's close that door. Just trying to get it where I can close my door and still have a little bit of air. I have a green screen on the door. So, man, it is still cooking, huh? Oh my god. The types exist since the test execution service is quite complex and uses local storage. What is going on? This is a problem with my prompting, and I just I don't give it very concise and specific prompts because I'm getting lazy again with my prompting, and so it just goes and does whatever the hell it wants. Alright, it's running, all the tests are passed. We have the environmental variables. We can now have the database set up. So, set up, connection successful, connected. So let's set up the database. Database setup completely successful. All right, and test operations. Test game upload. Directus API error. All right, well, that's fine. What I'm kind of curious about is this is the database. Did it create everything? All right, execution, version, scripts, tests. Yeah, I guess I'm a lot more used to Supabase. This one is a little less counterintuitive. It looks a lot nicer and a lot simpler, but it doesn't. I'm just not figuring this out right off the bat. But okay, so now let's do something here. I want to make sure that git status, git add all, git commit. Oops. Oh no. I hate when I do this. Git status, git add. I wasn't on the right computer. Git add all, git commit. Removing local storage and moving over to DB. Okay, now the real question is, is this implemented correctly? So authentication permission. Let me check a few things. First, let me see what the terminal output to get more context. Let me check the collections. You need to run the database setup first. Authentication issues. The user permission directives might not. Even if authenticated, the user might not have the right permissions to the game versions collection. Let me add a bit. Now let me add a method to check. Okay, I'm trying to keep track of the things we need to do. We need to also create the public user rules. Their own, and view their own tests and projects. The admin we're using right now is really just for testing. Although the admin should act like a regular user, but be able to execute migration code so it can make sure the database is properly All right. Let me see what it did here for this migration stuff. Let's go to test operations. Wait, setup. All right, connect to Directus database. Diagnostic operation, check permissions, read, write. That's weird. Okay, and why don't I have, when I check the permissions, I see this, which doesn't make sense since I'm the admin. Lastly, the tables are already set up, but there needs, we'll just do, excuse me, I'll just tell this information that it's already set up correctly. Alright, and I wish this was more fun. This is like the boring part of game development, especially if you're doing any sort of like online or if you're doing like any sort of online or multiplayer game. Like, so much infrastructure stuff needs to be created before you can even really get anything up and running. Choose Directus as a role-based permission system, and even the admin users need explicit permission configuration. In fact, you can read but no create indicates that the permissions are not properly set up for the collections. Let me add functionality to automatically configure the proper permissions for the collection first. Let me add methods to handle the role and permission management. All right. I have a feeling that I need to. I have a feeling that I also need to move a lot of this stuff over, this permission stuff over to the other implementation. Sorry, this is like so boring. I'm like also trying to get like another project working. I'm not too happy with the way that that one's coming out. I need to get this. I'll just show what I'm working on the other screen. I need to get this done today because I owe a whole bunch of slides. So I basically had like 30 slide decks that I need to do for LinkedIn. So I built this tool that lets you it lets you basically build out your own presentations, and I'm trying to get it to use a system where I can have these templates, and then what I need to do is map the templates over to an actual PowerPoint file that I upload so that it'll use that. And The idea being that I can generate out. I've already generated out all my presentations. What I need to do is convert them now into. I just need to convert them now into their template. So, and I needed to have my own sort of template anyways, but this is one of dozens of projects I'm already working on. That's my priority today, which is actually a cool little project because I have these ideas of like taking a lot of like what I learn and just turning them into quick presentations that I can do like a short talk or a video about. The goal from even that YouTube page that I was showing is to speed up my content creation by taking the raw form of whatever I'm doing and then documenting that, converting that into something usable and sharing it. Oh my god, it's just like goes on and on and on, huh? Almost done, I'm hoping. Respectively, and what is going on here? All right. I mean, I guess this is why I'm able to work on multiple projects at the same time, because there's a little bit of downtime while it figures out what it's doing with itself. Although I don't do a judicious enough job of actually following along to see what it's doing. Okay, is this done? Nope, it's still doing its thing. It's funny, like sometimes I think it just like hangs, but it actually is doing something behind the scenes. It's just taking like an incredibly long time. So while it does that, let's just move back over to the game and see where we left off. Actually, there's some stuff I wanted to take out of this anyway, so let me see if I got to the right version this time. All right, everything's compiling and taking a long time. I forgot also GB Studio takes forever to compile for the first time. All right, so what I need to do is get rid of this test suite stuff because this no longer exists. And going into edit mode should give me my tools, and I should be able to go back into play mode to restore things. And all right, my request failed. I knew that was coming. So I guess while that happens, what we're going to do is let's just look for this test example. I want to see where I view script usage. Test mode values. Where does it run this testing? Yeah, whatever. Let's just delete it. Yeah, delete script and references. There we go. This was an old system that I was trying to do where I was actually trying to make the testing inside of GB Studio. So basically it would like pause and stop and show you something, but it just wasn't working the way that it needed to. And all right, cool. So the core engine still works perfectly. In fact, we should be able to switch modes, and we can add some enemies. There we go. We can add more platforms. And we can move the player to any of these, and then we can play it. And all right, it's not moving the enemy there, but that's some other stuff I needed to work on anyways. But okay, at least this is now working. Let's save this. And let's come back here and let's take a look now at what this has prepared for us. So it's running its tests. We come here, we refresh the collections. Let's set the permissions. Ooh, it hated that. Wow, it hated that. It had issues setting up the permissions. Is this something we can do via code, or is it something I need to do? Either way, we need to show each of these permissions pass somehow, or it gives me instructions on what I need to do to get it working. All right. Man, it's been so long since I've actually like worked in this game that I can't. I remember like what was going on. I just can't remember some of the other stuff like I wanted to figure out, which was why the enemies are no longer being placed correctly, but we'll sort of get there. The issue is clear. Directives permission require a policy field, which was added newer versions of directives for access policy. The automatic permissions created via API is more complex than expected. Let me create a manual instruction page instead, and also add a diagnostics that shows. I wonder if there's a way. So what is this? This is permissions. Let me see what it has to say about. This provides a robust and flexible permission system that can allow you to hear the key concepts and methods. Direct this role, direct this. It's like one AI talking to another AI talking to another AI. I stopped you. Is this useful for implementing what I am asking for. Did it actually do something? The director's permission value requires a policy field, which is alright, but oh wait, it didn't submit. Undo these changes and let's do this. I thought I hit return. It doesn't look like I'm going to get this fully working by the end of the stream, but I'm going to keep hacking away at it while I do my other projects, and I'm hoping that I can get this to connect and work, because what I'd really like to do tomorrow is start actually building out tests and putting the logic back in that's missing from the tile map editor, or at least fixing a lot of the stuff that needs to happen. There's gonna be a lot of like complicated tests I need to do, which will verify that you can actually create all the different platform patterns and everything. There's a lot of tests I need to write, so this tool will be critical in that. Because also the other thing, the other reason why I wanted this tool to generate out images is that I can pass the image back to the AI and say, hey, like this is what I'm seeing and it's not correct. Because before I'm spending a lot of time like explaining to the AI what I see. Sometimes I'll take screenshots, but this will be way more direct. Yes, this is very useful. Based on this information, the automatic permission setup should work. The issues that Directus has evolved in the APIs might require additional fields. Let me create a simpler approach that focuses on the manual setup instructions. Oh, so you went back and did the same shit that I didn't want you to do. This is the kind of thing that I want to create with my like markdown slide generator, is that it would create these sort of presentations. Studio users. Yeah, I have a feeling that that this stuff is, it's not as automated as I'd want it to be. I don't understand how WordPress handles all that. The dev solution now is complete. The system will guide users through the necessary permissions set up. Sure. Just what I wanted to do. Alright, let's do this. Refresh. Close this out. Alright, but it doesn't tell me that there's permission issues. Refresh collections. Clearing your role name, likely administrator. Click on the collection name, set all permissions. Alright, so let's follow its directions. We're going to come here. No, we need the database. We're going to come here. And I'm not familiar with Directus, so let's see what it has to say. Open your admin, go to settings, roles, and permissions. Okay. Users assigned to role administrator. I don't think its documentation is correct. For each role below, configure the following permissions. Collections. Let's see here. Let's go to data model. And is there any permissions in here? Preview, content version, archive, sort, accessibility. Saves automatically. User's role. Admin, create an admin user. Security avatar location, doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Two-factor, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. None of this matters. Where do you change the permissions? Settings. User roles. I'm gonna have to go look at the documentation in a second. Is it in settings? Okay. I'm in settings. I feel like I've had this problem before because I'm not really familiar with the way that this works. All right, so we go to settings and we're looking at access policies. Custom permissions provide more granularity for all. They impact what? All right, so let's go to access policies. Restricted app. What I don't understand in Directus. Let me just ask it. Is that not part of the API? Like, my expectation is that it should. You can comment in Directus configuration, even though the administrator role is unrestricted. There are actually two separate permissions. App access controls what you can see and do in Directus. API controls what you can do programmatically. The unrestricted app misleading primarily refers to the app access, but the API system to collect roles and permissions. Your code is trying to create permissions programmatically, but Directus restricts API access to system collections. Directus. When enable system collection API access in your Directus config, you need to explicitly allow API access. Explicit. Is this real? Allow API access to system collections. You may need to manually create a permission for your role to access. I want to see if this is a real property. Let's go here. Okay. Creating a project. Breakdown of the composite files. Compose, fine. Configuring a data model. Using the API. Let's see what this says in here. Fetching data, querying parameters, creating data, fine. Watch. Here's the data reference. The API reference is generated from our open API specification error. Type of token, standard token, session tokens, storing tokens, making requests. Trying to see if there's anything here, maybe on like resources, managed guides. I'm so baffled. More importantly, you may need to direct this. All right, so you're saying that in my directives file, I need to set this up. So let's call your bluff. Let's open file. Let's go to we are looking for database, directives. Of course, I'm not showing this file. Well, this wasn't much fun again either, huh? Enable system collection API. System collections API access. Let's ask the Oracle about this. Directus. Users collection typically refer to a person application. Custom permissions. Custom permissions provide edit item permissions. So where did it go? It's here. Permissions collections. User rules, admin. Enabled in the admin access, enabled IP signed to. All right. Why do I not see the settings thing that it's talking about? Saving automatically. Hidden singleton. I think that this might not be like what I really want to use. I mean, I wonder if this would just be easier to do MySQL directly. after I spent all this time. I mean, I am interested in DirectX. It's really more for like a CMS, I feel like, or being the head of the CMS. Let's see what it has to say. Current DirectX pain points. Complex permissions API. SQLite benefits for use case. Single file database. No server setup needed. Direct SQL control. No permission layers. Local storage. Perfect. What about user auth? Okay, can I run this all from the front end? See, this is the problem that I have. Like, one, I don't know a lot about the back end stuff, and so I wind up going down these rabbit holes. Yes, you can run this all from the front end. Your current setup is already doing exactly that. It's a client-side React app making direct API calls to DirectX. However, there's some important consideration. The React app is making fetch calls to DirectX. Service needed. All database operations happen to client. What about the image storage and file uploads? Files and image storage are actually much simpler with SQL compared to DirectX. Here's how you can handle it. Require additional API calls and permission source files into the create. Wait, I don't like. Why is it saying? Oh, I see. Store files locally. Store files are blob and SQL. IndexedDB for browsing storage. Screenshot canvas screenshot base 64 SQL. Offline support, disk space only. Do I need other services for the ROM storage? And why not just... I find with base 64, basically suggesting that I just inject the images into the database, which is fine because they're like 160 by 144. I don't really care about the size. You don't need additional services to your ROM storage. Your current DirectX setup already handles. No, I don't. Okay, all right. Stop with DirectX. Talking about just using SQLite or something simpler. I can't believe I went down this rabbit hole. Let's abandon DirectX and switch to SQLite. It's much simpler for your use case. God, you're not answering the questions. Jesus, you're not answering. You didn't answer the question. With SQLite running from my front end, how do I handle do I need another service to move the file to the server? Deleting it should be easy. What I can't remember is like there's like a bunch of security restrictions around having the front end write to the server. God, I don't want this to be in the browser. I want a portable database tied to the instance of the app, not the browser. What if I access it from a different computer? Yeah, it changes everything. A server-based solution, not a web app. That's what I'm telling you. Oh my god, I don't want to do Tori app. I don't want any of this. I don't want a desktop app. Node backends plus React front end. Sorry, no response was returned. Your answer was garbage. I don't want a desktop app. Anyways, I think it's time for me to end the stream anyways. I'm going to keep thinking through how I need to do this because I'm overcomplicating it, and this really needs a much simpler solution, and I'm losing days because of my, one, lack of knowledge, and two, obsession with trying to make things completely reusable. So anyways, let me hack around with this for the rest of the day off screen, and then we'll pick it back up tomorrow at 9 and see what we can do. But anyways, for the few of you who actually maybe have stayed and watched me suffer through this, thanks for joining, and I will see you tomorrow.